What he has come up with the concept is very simple. You have a web server with you, let's say, and you can have any kind of a client who wants to interact with the server. Now when we see the usage of HTTP protocol between the client and the server, what we need to imagine on the server side are resources. So what we have on the server are resources. For an example, an image is also a resource. If the client wants to access the image, I just need to know the URL to download that resource on the client side. You know, there could be multiple resources. So I could have a bunch of resources lying on the server. So he exactly just came up with the same idea. Like when you see any file that you keep on the server, think about that file as a resource which you access it by its URL. Well, so we start with the same concept over here. A REST web service should just be thought about as a resource in your application. Just like any other resource, you create a file and you save it on the server. A web service also should be treated just like any other server side resource. Okay, now this is the name from which, if I compare it, I'll just give you some quick names over here. So you must have heard about SOA, service oriented architecture. Similarly, now we have another name, ROA, resource oriented architecture. Okay, we also have one more name, Goa, but oh no, that doesn't have a full form yet. So we need to come out of something of this. Okay, so ignoring this, when we talk about these two names, the second name, resource oriented architecture, this is another name that is now becoming a bit popular, and it has a very similar kind of theme like what SOA had, service oriented architecture. Today when you start with the design of a new application, you might start thinking in a RESTful way from the beginning itself. So using ROA means your architecture is based on the concepts of REST based web services. You start thinking about your system as set of resources which are lying on the server, and all I need to do from the client side is learn how to consume the same. And well, I don't have to learn anything new because the protocol HTTP, everyone knows how to use it today. Even if it's a plain HTML running on the client side without any major challenges, from an HTML code also you can easily, like it's all meant for HTML by default. So forget it, without any problem on any client side application, without any efforts we will be able to use it. If the client is a Java program, if the client is a mobile application, no matter which language we are going to use, support for HTTP protocol is something which is found everywhere. So without any challenges, the client can easily connect to the server, start consuming all the services and go on. So think about your web services as resources. So for example, the suggestion is if you create a Java code acting as a RESTful web service, you might want to give the file name as, for example, product resource.java. Now this is how you might want to name your files. So you will start using the word resource in your file names to indicate you're developing RESTful web services. So this is one of the theme to begin with. So think about your code as resources. Now, how do you access this resource? Using some uniform methods of HTTP protocol, like for example, get, post. Well, so he suggested, who? I'm talking about Roy, the name which we started with, the guy who has to be given credit for all these concepts. So he suggested that apart from all those methods we have in HTTP protocol, he identified 4 methods of HTTP protocol, and he asked everyone in the community that any web service that you're going to develop, stick to this 4 so that we will have uniformity across all possible web services that anyone will develop and consume today. So any developer developing a RESTful web service should not go beyond these 4 methods. It's just a suggestion. It's not like, okay, I cannot use any other method of HTTP protocol. Well, but he has suggested use get, use post, use put, use delete. Don't use anything beyond this. He wrote in his PhD thesis about why beyond these 4 methods you don't need anything else. He was able to prove all the business functionalities fitting very well into these 4 methods of HTTP protocol. Like he said, use get method if you want to read some data from the server. So if I want to, let's say, get the details of the order that I have placed, So I can use get method for sending the request, and I will get back the details of the order that I have placed. Okay, I want to place an order, so I can use post method, in which the client will send the data to the server and the server will process it further. So post method. You might want to modify the order that you have placed, so you can use put method. I want to cancel the order that I have placed, so I can use delete method. What else we want to do? Any business functionality can easily fit into these 4 methods of HTTP protocol. We don't need anything beyond this. So he was able to prove it, that why you don't need anything beyond these 4 methods of HTTP. So stick to this if possible, so that we will have uniformity in all the possible code which we will write, which will be called as a RESTful web service. Okay, what else he said was, your RESTful web services should be stateless. Why? Because the protocol is stateless in the first place. HTTP protocol is a stateless protocol, so stick to that. Don't create a web service which will store state. That means if I'm writing this code in Java, can I in this Java code use the HTTP session API? Well, if I want, I can. Why not? It's available, because this code will be running on Tomcat, for example, and I have access to that HTTP session object of Java by default. So in my Java code, can I use HTTP session object, and I can store some state in the session and retrieve it again in the next call? I can if I want to, but don't do it, please. You're obviously affecting the scalability of your application over here. So think stateless. Don't go for a web service which will be stateful in nature. It's not a good idea actually. And there are many other reasons. If you study more about the stateless nature, you will come to know more about the aspects related to this. That's why in Spring and other frameworks, if you're aware of it, like they follow another style of programming which is called a singleton. Why singleton became so popular? Singleton means there's only one object of that class. And if you only have one object of a class, and if there are 10 users trying to access that functionality provided by that class, don't you think this design is stateless in nature? It has to be stateless, or else you will not be using singleton at all in your code. So why singleton is the preferred design pattern in any software that we develop by default? There are many reasons why. So go for singleton, go for stateless. That's how you should start with your design when you develop web services. Okay, then what else? Now this is an interesting one, the last one. Hypermedia as the engine of application state. So I would like to talk more about this.